I'm so excited to share our exclusive interview with Steve Phillips, founder, chair, and chief innovation officer at Zappi. Zappi is a leading AI-powered consumer insights platform that connects brands and consumers, helping companies make faster and smarter decisions. In this conversation, Steve shares how AI is transforming the consumer insights and market research industry and how Zappi is integrating AI into the entire research process. He dives into the game-changing potential of AI in product development and marketing. Plus, he provides great tips on how to leverage AI effectively. Let's dive into how AI is reshaping the next generation of consumer insights and decision making. Hello, Steve. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'd love to start our conversation learning more about your role as a Chief Innovation Officer at Zappi. Can you talk to us more about what you do in your company?
Sure. Thank you, Fernanda. So I founded Zappi about 12 years ago, and I had the CEO role for almost all of that time. But as it's got bigger, I realized it wasn't necessarily the area of my best expertise. And so we hired a great new CEO towards the end of last year, Aaron Ketchley, who's brilliant, much better at than me. And I've transitioned to focusing what I'm most passionate about, which is pushing the company's product and vision forward for the next 2, 3, 4 years, focusing very much on integrating advances in AI into the product and the platform and the experience.
Amazing. I've read a lot about Zappi and your role currently, and I learned that Zappi is leading the way in terms of integrating artificial intelligence when it comes to customer insights and market research. Can you talk to us more about how AI is transforming these two areas?
Sure. When we started, we had AI integrated into our systems right from the beginning. That wasn't to do with me, it's to do with my business partners. But of course, it was an old-fashioned AI. So we've always been, and we are fundamentally a technology company. We're an automation specialist. So we've always been thinking about advances in both technology generally, but specifically in AI. So it's no wonder that we've adapted to it very quickly. I think there are two main areas that are being utilized. So one is internally within the business and one is externally within product that you sell. And I think that's true across the board in all industries. In terms of consumer insight, there are multiple stages of that process. So there's the design of the system, the design of the questionnaire or the focus group, or whatever it might be. There's the collection of the data, then there's the analysis, and then there's the reporting. And AI is having a role in all of those things. So lots of people are looking at integrating it into one or two elements. We try and integrate it across the board. And then in terms of the delivery of the information, which is the outside bit, the product piece, because those are effectiveness and efficiency gains. In the external piece, it's really about what's the purpose of research and what can it do within the client organization. So how can we expand the role of insight through the advantages of AI? And that's really what I'm trying to focus on.
Excellent. You already mentioned this briefly, but can you expand on some of the top AI use cases currently at Zappi in terms of some of your customers? No need to mention customers, but some of the most common use cases at the moment.
So I would put it in those same sort of buckets. I mean, we've improved all of our analysis, all of our reporting. We're using advanced LLMs to write really much better reports than we used to write. So that's one very important aspect. But for me, what's more interesting is the use cases we're piloting now and we're going to be releasing next quarter, which is around the use of agents. So the thing that consumer insight does is it gives great insight into what your customers, your potential customers think about your new product, about your new advertising campaign, about your brand. And normally it is delivered as a report to someone in the marketing department, inside the marketing department. And we say, here is the insight from your customer. Now you work out what to do next, right? So you work out how to improve the product or how to iterate on the product or how to create a new advertising campaign. What we can now do with the agentic world that we're moving into is empower the agents to start doing the creation process on the back of that consumer insight. So now what we've developed through agentic workflows on the basis of the consumer insight to automatically generate new product ideas, generate advertising campaigns, improve upon those advertising campaigns as we test them with consumers. So we can expand the usage of the insight, which is very exciting.
This is amazing. And I believe a lot of the trends in the AI world right now are in terms of the developing more agents. A lot of brands are going to start leveraging this much more. One of the items that I know that you also talk about is the quality of data. And this is all in one big context. So if we don't have good data, we can't get good insights from data that is not high quality. What are your thoughts on this?
That's absolutely right. I mean, the old adage is garbage in, garbage out. And it's really the thing about consumer insight data is it's always been really useful for companies wanting to make a decision. And so data quality has always been something that we've worried about. It's been something that we've been focused on. One of the things now, when you think about data quality in terms of a platform of not just one project, but lots and lots of projects and all of that data coming together in an AI world, means that not just the data quality, but harmonization, the systematization of that data becomes incredibly important. So we have to start thinking about data at really its base level, because it is becoming so much more powerful. And I could argue for hours about why consumer insight data is more powerful than many other data streams. And so it can really sort of catalyze these AI agents and AI models to really help clients get a competitive advantage, but only if that data underneath is really strong. So we spend a lot of time and effort thinking through and trying to improve that.
That's great to hear. And in addition to the quality of the data, we know that the reliability is something that we need to take into consideration. We know that AI makes mistakes. So how can we avoid these mistakes when we have the consumer insights, the market research results, so we can provide the best service to our clients?
I would say there are a few angles to that. So first, I think the models are getting better, right? So they hallucinate a lot less now than they did, say, 2 years ago. So there's one, that the underlying base models are coming better. I would say the second thing that we can do is much better prompts. You can use prompt engineering to reduce the amount of errors, to get the model to refocus back on accuracy, to make sure you get references, etc. And one of the things we're doing is we're plugging our data into the model, so we can then immediately check whether it's picking up the accurate data or not. So that's the second thing we can do. The third thing we can do is, frankly, as users of these systems, is to always check them. We're just in a period still where you need a human in the loop. You need someone going, does that make sense? I know the market quite well because I'm in marketing. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not. And to relook at it. And I think the advantage we have, though, is that instead of taking 2 weeks to come up with 1 or 2 ideas, we can take 2 hours and come up with 20 ideas. So we can also test them with consumers as well. So the whole game is beginning to change.
I couldn't agree more. These are great tips in terms of prompt engineering, refining the prompts and fact checking, and just questioning AI, challenging the responses, especially as you mentioned, when people are familiar with that market. If they're not, they need to be extra careful, but these are great tips. And what are other tips you would have for marketers who are looking to integrate AI effectively into their workflows?
It's the same tip I always give, which is just go and play. So you just have to get a feel for these models by playing with different ones. So I'm involved in some sustainability work, charitable work with one of the industry bodies, and I needed to write a spec for an IT person to build a library function. And it would have taken me a couple of days 2 years ago. Yeah. And I did it in 30 minutes, just playing back and forth with, it was Claude in this case. And it's by far the best way to get a feel for how good they are, where their strengths are, where their weaknesses, how you can prompt them. Because as I think we agree, prompting is so important, getting that prompt right, and how you can push them in the right direction, and how easily they can go off track if you give them the wrong thing to say. And I often find when I'm using an LLM for anything that it may be something to do with my personal life, or trying to work out an itinerary for a trip to Egypt, which I'm doing with my son, it sparks ideas. You start thinking, oh, we can do that. And And it's suggesting that. So maybe we could suggest that to our clients. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's something. So playing with these models really helps you generate ideas, get an understanding of how good they are and where their weaknesses are and all that sort of stuff. So play.
Yes, I think with AI, we have those big aha moments where some things that seem so simple we never tried before, and it truly helps us innovate in various areas of business and marketing in general. You mentioned Claude. What are other tools that you would say are your favorite or your go-to tools currently?
So I tend to use the stuff that I do, ChatGPT and Claude are the main ones. Our data science and AI teams, agent teams, are looking at multiple agent universes. At the moment, we're using the OpenAI agent framework, but some of the other frameworks are getting really interesting. We're looking at DeepSeek. I think towards the end of the year, we'll probably end up having our own or storing our own LLM. I'm really excited about the SLMs, like the small language models, because a lot of what we're trying to do actually doesn't require a large language model. Now you've got a large language model, you can train a small language model from it, and then you can store it on your own systems, which it massively increases things like data security. So there are so many things that we're experimenting with and playing with. From a consumer insight perspective, the maths models are going to be, I know Google have already got their internal maths model. It's already got silver medal at the Maths Olympiad. That would be revolutionary for things like data analytics. Increasingly, the model's ability to actually not just do the analysis or write the report, but do the analysis and then do the report creation from that analysis, like doing the charting. And there are so many systems, BI systems, that are built just to like build a table, build a chart, build a PowerPoint report or whatever. Suddenly that none of them will be required because you'll have a whole new system. But that changes a lot of things for us and a lot of other companies. So staying on top of this stuff is just it's a whirlwind.
Yes, and another movement that we've been seeing, and I think that it's going to increase as more companies start adopting AI, is this partnership with, as you mentioned, OpenAI, for instance. There's a very interesting case study with Estee Lauder's global luxury brand partnering with OpenAI. They created more than 200 custom GPTs, and they're leveraging AI for customer insights to feed their product development process. Where do you see the opportunities in this area?
We are releasing, we're already in beta. We come out about we're in beta with our own product creation agents based on our clients' data. So we're already doing programs with various different clients and creating different product ideas all around the world based on the consumer insights our data clients have collected. That will be going into full launch next month. I think it's a fascinating space. So now, once you've collected the type of insight that you need, you can use AI agents to create new product ideas. You can then test those ideas. You can get AI to refine the ideas based on the testing that you've got. And all of that you can iterate on within hours. So it's a very different innovation world that most companies are in right now. So as with all of these things, by far the most difficult thing is the behavior change of persuading people to change what they've been doing, the systems they've been using, the processes they've been using, so that they can just vastly increase the quality of the output and the amount of the output as well. So it's exciting times, but it's very much the behavior change, I think, that will hold us back.
Yes, I agree. And looking forward to seeing this big launch with the agentic AI in your company. Looking forward to learning more about it in the future as well. Steve, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
No, I think just go off and play.
Yes, for sure. That's great advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fernando. It's good to speak to you.